1000万 MLB 翻訳侍戦士チャンネルへようこそ。パドレスが序盤から攻勢に出てドジャースを圧倒。一方ドジャースの主力打者は苦戦を強いられ、フリーマン選手の怪我も痛手となりました。試合は両チームの感情的な応酬もあり、白熱の展開に。今回はこちらを詳しく解説している番組をご紹介いたします。ご感想などありましたらぜひコメント欄までお願いします。それではご覧ください。
Padres just came in there. They came out swinging, like you said. When the ball's over the middle of the plate, they made you pay.
Well, and we've talked about this before coming into this series. You need your best players to be your best players, and the top three in the Dodgers order tonight went 0 for 10. Now, Freddie Freeman also left the game because the ankle injury, it flared up on him. And I know Mookie Betts, he should have had a home run. Nomar, you talked about it. The fans need to make that play, if you will, there. But all in all, the top three guys in the order just not able to get it
yeah,
done tonight.
I mean, for sure. You know, we see Shohei Ohtani, who's 0 for 4 in this game, and we saw, you know, the swing and miss there when he was facing Yu Darvish, but he even had, Yu Darvish had him off balance too and was getting a rollover, weak contact, so he was getting out Mookie Betts. Yeah, the first one were potentially, you know, that could have been a home run. He gets robbed there, but then after that, really couldn't get anything going. Freddie Freeman, he was also in that fourth inning, like we talked about. He lined out. I mean, he crushed the ball out there to right, I mean, to left field, and it ended up being cut, so he had a line drive, but outside of that, you know, that was all. And then you had Kike come in, and Kike came in and he lined out a couple of times, so there was a couple hard outs. But really, from the top three overall, when you're looking for production, especially from those guys, there wasn't any today overall when you look at the box score, and that played a huge role in this because we know that that's where the Thunder, and then you know you're going to keep the other team on the ropes with those guys.
You mentioned it early, Nomar. I really thought the momentum really shifted. I think we had runners on first and second, maybe in first and third. Tommy hits an absolute seed, and then Will Smith is double off. There's nothing Will Smith can do because he was off the bag. Rocket, they're out of the inning with a double play. I thought if that's up and it's into the corner right there, it's possibly a tie game at that point, and it's a new ball game. And now we got Yu Darvish a little bit on his heel, and maybe here we go again. But once again, in the postseason, you got to go pitch to pitch, inning to inning. The Padres were excelled at that tonight. But we have to have an answer, Game 3 at their place.
Well, people are still debating whether this is becoming a rivalry between the Dodgers and the Padres. But going back to 2020, Nomar, we know this. When the Dodgers and Padres play, it is intense baseball on the field. There's always chirping between the two sides. We saw that again tonight. The emotions were running hot. There even fans were chirping at players, and it was one of those games where things were really intense.
Oh, well, yeah, there, you know, you're thinking you're having a home run. The fans are fired up. You got Profar just kind of taunting them, going, okay, listen, I just robbed you of a ball. And then also, you know, the one thing is you got a leadoff batter here. It's a close game. The Dodgers are in this game. And then you got, you know, Flaherty hits a batter. Like, it gets away from him. They think you're trying to hit somebody on purpose. They act like that. Like, come on. That's what's upsetting. It's like, you can't act like that, really, to lead off the inning. He's trying to hit you. That's what he wants to do. Flaherty really wants to put on your number 2 hitter so you can get to your 3 and 4, your big guys with a guy on. Come on. That's why I think would also upset some of the chirping goes on. But at the same time, what we saw in the outfield can't happen. No matter what, you can't have that from fans. You can't have that. You can't be throwing stuff. You can't be doing all that. But yeah, there's intensity, but that's just uncalled for, and it is not part of this game.
So you want the intensity and you want the hate. That's okay to hate your opponent, because this is the nature of the beast here. This is postseason baseball. There's going to be high energy, high intensity, and it's okay. It's okay to not like each other. So I like that these guys are chirping, going back and forth. But again, we have to answer the bell. The Padres answer the bell tonight, and they continue to pour it on us. We got to be able to be ready for Game 3 in a hostile environment. So listen, keep it on the field, not in the stands. The fight is between the players.
And speaking of that fight, Jerry, Dave Roberts has talked about it. We talked about it on the pregame show as well. We're going to see how much fight is in this Dodger team, because they're about to walk into a hornet's nest down there in San Diego over these next 2 games. We'll see if they can bounce back.
If you want to be a world champion, you got to go into some hostile environments and win ball games. You got to be able to win on the road. Guys understand that. It wasn't their night. They did not play well. The Padres were awesome tonight. Tip your hat and move on. But I don't care where you're playing, whether it's in San Diego, in Philly, in New York, it doesn't matter. If you want to be a champion, you better buckle up and play great baseball.
There's no doubt. You got to embrace that. You got to actually embrace those moments. That's what you want. You want to be able to go into an environment like that. You want that energy where you're going away. You know you feel the energy at home, but you really want the energy when you go away. You want to feel that, and you want to make it silent. You want to quiet them. You want to go out there and do things to say, okay, to keep it. When you have that many fans and just silence them, that's when you're getting the job done. So you embrace it. Yeah. It's supposed to stay on the field. Make no mistake. That's how it should. But at the same time, you better be ready and you better be excited to play in that type of environment.
What, I mean, there's nothing like getting a big hit or a home run at home, wherever you're at, the roar of the crowd. But I think one of the best feelings on the world, and Nomar, you can attest to this, being in a hostile environment and getting a big hit and shutting them up, or hit that home run in Cleveland like you did around in the basements, sit your butt down. So you can use that energy to your advantage. Hopefully the Dodger players do that.
And be ready to match the intensity. The Padres will come out there for Game 3. As for Game 2, let's get to Carl's Jr. moment of the game. Jerry, the Dodgers with Mookie Betts had a chance to quickly answer the Padres homer with a little momentum booster here, but Jurickson Profar takes it away.
Okay, this sums up the night right there. Mookie Betts, great swing, hits a home run for a split second.
Come on, fans.
Jurickson Profar able to rob the home run.
Padres win it by the final of 10-2. Let's go inside right now and hear from the skipper, Dave Roberts, talking to the media.
Dave, first, what's the status on Freddie coming out of the game?
You know what? I don't know. I got word in the middle of the game that his ankle was really bothering him, and he was really, he was down, really down, and just couldn't keep going. So we had no other choice, and he's doing everything he can. I don't know what his status will be like for Game 3, but for tonight, we had no other option.
And then what do you just make of that game and all the emotions between the teams, and then obviously with the crowd? Like, how much can that shift the dynamic of this series?
Well, I thought, we knew going into this series there was going to be a lot of emotions, and, they just played a better baseball game than we did tonight.
Skipper, we all know of the friction between these two clubs. How surprised are you that it went to that extent this evening?
As far as the whole thing that transpired on the field, well, shoot, I've seen over 1,000 games here, well over 1,000 games in this ballpark, and I've never seen anything like that. And so obviously there's a lot of emotions and things like that, but that's something that should never happen. And I guess I was pretty naive too as far as the specifics, but I know that security handled the person that was involved as far as, throwing the baseball in the field, and you just never want to see that. And like I said, I've seen so many games at Dodger Stadium, and our fans are as good as any that I've ever seen.
Dave, with Freddie, like, how concerning is it that, obviously for the next month to try and keep him healthy without this thing kind of flaring up every now and then?
It's sort of where we're at. It's not ideal. It is of concern. It's day to day, and there's nothing else we can do about it. So I think that we have a workout tomorrow evening, and then we'll just kind of see where he's at with treatment. And then once we get to Tuesday, we'll see how he feels, and then we'll do the same thing for Game 4. So again, it's not ideal, but I think this is what we're going to have to be dealing with for the duration.
And obviously, you guys kind of bounced back yesterday after getting in that early hole. But how tough is it to keep kind of getting down 3-4 runs early on?
It's it certainly puts a little bit on the offense, and getting behind tonight. I thought that the Mookie ball that was robbed, the Tommy Edman first and second base with one out, double play right there. But that's baseball. I mean, I thought those were two good at bats, and I thought Freddie took a good at bat. We were down 3-1 to lead off the third of the fourth inning, and Tatis makes a great play, which could have been a double, which could have potentially cut into the lead. So, but again, those guys made defensive plays, and then they tacked on when they needed to. So now it's a 3-game series. Like I said, they played better, but we got to catch a lead too.
Front left.
Dave, you talked about you've seen many games here in this ballpark for sure. How do you just turn the page and move on to Game 3?
Oh, it was I've turned it. I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly. I think for us, saving leverage guys, having Walker go in game 3, I feel great about that. And that's one of those that you just kind of want to wash away and get to the next day.
Doc, you've seen a lot of Yu Darvish. What did you think of him tonight?
You know, like I said, there were some balls that we hit hard and then didn't get anything to show for it. And then he made pitches when he needed to. You can see that he didn't use his fastball much. That's kind of what Yu does. It's a cutter, it's a slider, it's a curveball. It's a lot of front to back and very efficient strike throwing. And, you know, he did a good job getting through the 7th inning.
Front right.
With Mookie, like obviously he had the walks last night and the ball in the 1st inning today, but just how have you kind of evaluated his overall at-bats so far this series? He's still waiting on a hit.
Well, yeah, couple walks. Obviously the first at-bat could have been a homer. And then for me, I hope he continues to just, you know, stay within himself and not try to do too much. Maybe the last couple of bats where the game was not in hand, there was a little bit of, I wouldn't say indecision, but not as, you know, what he's done, I think. But yeah, it's 2 games, so I'm not worried about it. So I hope Mookie's not.
How big of a swing was that Profar catch, and just what were you able to see from the dugout on that play?
I didn't see anything, to be quite honest with you. I thought it was a homer, and then I didn't know if watching Mookie, I was trying to watch Mookie, and so I didn't know until he came running past me. So yeah, I thought that was a momentum changer, but also, again, I thought we built an inning after that. And then the Tommy Edman ball that was ended up being a double play ball. I thought that was more deflating, but still, no excuse.
What do you have for game 4?
I don't know yet, Barry. I think that's probably going to be all hands on deck at that point in time. And yeah, I don't know. I know Walker's starting game 3. I do know that.
So you think both teams could have a bullpen game in game 4?
I would say probably so. I could see that.
Front right.
What do you think of Jack today, his outing?
I thought he got better as the game went on. You know, you look at the Tatis ball, he had count leverage, and then misfires down middle, gives up a homer, and then again you have 2 outs. You've got Peralta up, and he tries to go back foot slider, and it just doesn't get there, and he gives up a 2-out 2-run homer. And then after that, I thought he pitched well. Obviously, you don't want to hit Tatis to lead off an inning. And then the bunt base hit, and then I just felt right there. Banda gave us the best chance to maybe get a ground ball double play or get a punch. And I thought Merrill Jackson took some good at-bats against Jack Flaherty, the preceding 2 at-bats. So I felt it was a good time. But I think overall, I thought he did a good job keeping us in there.
All right, we'll take the last question.
Doc, what did you think about the whole mouthing off between Manny and Flaherty? Was that necessary, or?
You know what? I think, again, that's just, I chalk it up to emotions. Both guys are just competing their tails off, and sometimes you don't think before you speak. And so I don't know what was the instigator about it. I have no idea, Barry.
Well, we heard Dave Roberts talking about Freddie Freeman giving an update. His ankle just became to the point where it was bothering him so much, Jerry, that he couldn't go anymore. Clearly, that had to be a painful situation for him because it was still a 3-1 game when Freddie had to come out of this one.
So hopefully, takes tonight. We have the off day tomorrow. Hopefully, he can manage it a little bit and be ready to go for game 3.
Yeah, because you can really see how much it's hurting. You know, it gets to the point where you're in the middle of the game and you know, he scalds that ball. I mean, he crushes that ball to right field. And, you know, obviously it's caught. But there are times when you're thinking, and we saw the way he's kind of running off, that you're going, okay, if it happened, if he didn't catch that ball, where could I have gone? Would I have been able to get that double? How would I really? And that's where you're trying to think in your head, like, okay, if I couldn't get to second base on that ball, or if it was going to make it close, and that should have been an easy double had it gone over, am I really helping? How much am I really helping the team? Then you go out there, you make that play, and you're like, okay, that feels good, and you're coming in, and you're going, man, it is. I'm just not really, I'm not myself here. I just can't go out there. And, you know, he's doing everything he can to get out there. And your teammates know that too. They see it, they see the work, and it's unfortunate, but he had to come out. And that's where your teammates will always say, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Next up, man, mentality. And, you know, Kike Hernandez get in there, and he ended up crushing 2 balls when he was in there as well. Hit one to the wall that was caught by Merrill out in there in center field, then lines out his next at bat. So that's just what it's going to take, you know. But we'll see. Hopefully, with that day off, he can control it. Maybe he feels back the way it was on Game 1.
More treatment tomorrow, more treatment before Game 3 on Tuesday. As of right now, Freddie Freeman's status probably in doubt for Game 3. But in that Game 3, we're going to see Walker Buehler, Nomar, getting the ball for the Dodgers in a big spot. We've seen him pitch really well in a lot of big games throughout his career.
Yeah,
and the Dodgers need him again.
Yeah, we've seen him do it, and the Dodgers are gonna need him to do it. So he has done this. This is what Walker Buehler has been throughout his career. He embraces these types of moments, and it's not being in the spotlight here at home in front of your home crowd. He embraces it when it's in the spotlight, even when it's away. And we talk about maybe it's in a hostile environment. He loves those types. What we have also seen over the course of this season, how he was getting better each and every outing. And, you know, now it's culminating to you need his best outing of the year, coming out here and going out there and taking to it. You got to stifle an offense that is feeling it, a team that is very confident, and they're even more confident when they're playing in front of their home crowd. They feed off the energy. You see the way these guys play with the intensity, but make no mistake, Walker Buehler has some intensity in there. We need to see Walker Buehler with that fire, with that swag, and go out there and compete and take it to these guys. It's not about overpowering. It's about going, taking them, and executing and getting those outs.
You know, the one thing, obviously, Walker Buehler missed so much time. And when he got back, he was trying to find a delivery that worked. He was trying to find a release point that worked. But as we went down, especially his last start, he didn't care about delivery. He didn't care about where the release point was. All he cared about was competing. I think when we have a game with high emotion, high intensity, it brings out the best of Walker Buehler. So I want and trust him to take the mound on Game 3 in a hostile environment because you know what? That young man feeds off it.
I was going to say, embrace the hostility, like you guys said. Like, no, get louder, let's go.
今回の動画はいかがでしたか？ぜひご意見ご感想をコメント欄までお願いいたします。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーの最新情報など海外の番組の翻訳をお届けしています。面白いと思っていただけましたらよかったら高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。どんな情報をお届けしたら喜んでいただけるかぜひお聞かせください。それではまた次回の動画でお会いいたしましょう。